Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. This video is about this scope right here. This is the Burris Veracity PH. It's awesome. It's crazy cool. If you've never seen it, you're gonna be like, whoa, that's awesome. But if you watch my show every day, which make sure you're subscribed, I got new videos every day. I'm working crazy hard at it. You would have seen me, about 2 weeks ago, I had a video on this. This is called the Burris Eliminator 6. Now what this one does, you can see it's electronic, it's got buttons, but it still looks like a hunting scope. Pretty slick. Long story short, you tell it the ammo you're using and the exact speed and the BC and all that. And then it has a built-in rangefinder. You press this button on your target, your steel, your mule deer, elk, whitetail, whatever. And then it has a heads-up display that automatically tells you where to hold. And it works. I proved it again the other day. It's awesome. It's definitely not cheap, but the technology absolutely works. The Burris Eliminator 6. Well, this is the Veracity PH. It also is electronic. I've got it Bluetooth linked to my phone. This one is a little bit different in the sense where it doesn't have a built-in rangefinder and automatically show you where to hold, but it does have a heads-up display. I'm gonna show you that right now. So, this is actually the exact setup I took to Africa in 6.5 Creedmoor, and I have it programmed with this ammo. Remington Core-Lock tipped, 129 grain. So the Burris Connect app on your phone, it has a library of a bunch of factory ammo, pretty much everything under the sun. But if your speed's a little bit different, you can put in a custom load or a hand load and boop, tell it the BC, the velocity. The app, you can even use it to grab your elevation and all this stuff. Pretty cool. This one is considerably less expensive than this one. If you look this up, you might be surprised at how cheap you can get into one. But let me show you just the heads-up display right here. Now, I've already got it zeroed. This is just as I took it to Africa. This is I'm so excited, I'm getting ahead of myself. Savage Axis 2 Pro. The 2 means you get an AccuTrigger. The Pro, you get a little bit heavier profile barrel. Comes with a pick rail. And it's a threaded barrel. Yes, threaded barrel, Savage Axis with a pick rail. That's my Banish 30 can on there. This is literally how I took it to Africa. It's still programmed and all this stuff. So we're gonna stretch it out and just do another quick video verifying it and show you the rig I took to Africa. And it's pretty cool. So let me show you. I've got this programmed, like I said, for this ammo. Let me show you the display here. I'm gonna film through the scope, but I don't know if my scope camera is gonna give you the full visibility, so let me just use this camera to show you real quick. So this is the scope right here, Burris Veracity PH. This one's 2.5 to 12. They make a couple more models that have more magnification. Now at the top, it's scrolling and it says custom Remington Core-Lock tipped 129 grain. You can make that say whatever you want and upload it. I typed in custom so I would know that this is programmed for the loading, where I changed the velocity, because this Axis has a little bit shorter barrel, so it's not quite as fast as a longer barrel one. So I've programmed it for that slower velocity. Now check this out. I'm gonna start turning the elevation knob, and I'm gonna show you back in the scope what I'm seeing. In the heads-up display, it's gonna show my battery, my level. So if I cant it this way or the other way, you can see the levels getting wonky there. Bring it back to center. You can see the top. That I have set to yardage. So you can have that be MOA, mils, or yardage. I have it set to yardage. So 200 yards, I just dial it and it automatically adjusts my reticle. Pretty cool. It's got that heads-up display. The number on the right is the windage hold. So you can plug into the app what's the wind, and it will automatically change your windage hold depending on the distance. So, sorry for my shaky hands there, but that's the best way I could show you the heads-up display in here. Now, I'm going to pop up here real quick the app, where I'll show you a screenshot of the app where I plugged in the data, and boop, boop, boop. You Bluetooth, click upload on your phone, boop, and then this is good to go. So, I've got the ammo uploaded. Let's verify it at 100, and then we're just going to start stretching it out. I'm not going to make this a terribly long video, but this is my setup that I had in Africa last year. Pretty cool scope. Yeah, let's start sending some down range. The part there is here at my range, I already have steel every 100 yards. But if you were hunting, per se, you'd still need to have your rangefinder range the animal, and then you would dial it to whatever, 327 yards. Boop! Dial it to 327. Pow! So, yeah, pretty cool technology, and it works, and I'm fixing to show you. All right, so I just slapped on my new ScopeMate scope camera. That thing's pretty cool. It has a touch screen and everything. How cool is that? But it looks like it's just gonna cut off the top of that heads-up display. So in the footage, we're not gonna be able to see my dials there in the digital readout. But that's okay. I showed you how the heads-up display works. Again, that top number in there, I've got mine set for the yardage. So 100 yards. I'm not gonna record through the scope just yet, but let's send one. 100 yards. I have not adjusted this since I was hunting in Africa, but it should be dead on. Turret set at 100 yards still. Let's send one. Should be hitting that steel. The cant is also a cool part of this, especially when you start to stretch it out. Make sure that you're level. All right, and we punched that steel pretty near dead center. So I'm good with that being verified. Let's go ahead and start stretching it out to 200. Let me show you my dial here. So just now I hit that piece of steel at 100. Now I'm going to turn my dial up till it says 200. We'll leave it at 201. Now let's send some at my 200 yard steel. Got to go set my camera up at 200 yards down there. Be right back. All right, now we're at 200 yards. Let me fix my parallax here. Clear up that image. Now this is a 12 power scope, so we're not going to crank way down in it. That's at 12 power. Got my target camera. Now remember, I dialed this up till the heads-up display said 200 yards. So I've got an 8-inch piece of steel down there. If everything works correctly, we'll hit the steel. All the AR-500 on my range is Caldwell AR-500 steel. But 8-inch gong, that's not a huge target now. But like I said, if it all worked right, then we'll be good here. And I just hit that piece of steel right in the middle. So what we're doing here is, normally I have a video series called Will It Hunt, where I'm taking every single cartridge. I've already done like 20. And I show you how to do the math and the calculations, get the speeds, and then you dial for mils or MOA. This is taking the thinking out of it. So I didn't have to sit here and do the math or put it into a ballistic calculator. This is now your ballistic calculator, the Veracity PH. While I'm sitting here thinking about it, I just talked to a buddy of mine the other day, shout out to Tony. He just put this exact scope on a muzzle loader. So you put in the projectile weight, the speed, the BC, boop. It's your own built-in ballistic calculator. But let's send another one. I don't want to burn up all this ammo, especially at close range, because we're fixing to take it a little further. But got it. That one I squeezed it a little high, looks like. Literally like the day before I was going to Africa, I did a bunch of ammo testing, and that's how I came to choose this ammo. But this stuff grouped good for me out of this Savage. Send a third, then we'll go on to 300 yards. All right, 3 hits in a row at 200. Now, all I gotta do now is go to this dial. I'm gonna show you through the scope again since this other camera is cutting it off. We're looking at my 200 yard berm here, right? Well, now next we're going to 300 yards. So I'm gonna dial it for 300 and we're gonna send them at the 300 yard steel. I'm gonna put up a deer target at 300 for us, but now my scope is set. I'll meet you at the 300 mark. Let me go move the targets or cameras. All right, now 300 yards. I gotta really start to focus on my trigger squeeze here. 200 yards, too easy. 300 yards, I really gotta start to focus on my trigger squeeze. Recording here, recording downrange, recording again on my scope here. I loaded 3 in the mag. Let me fix my parallax here. I've got a 1/3 size deer down there. So it's not a full size deer, it's a 1/3 the size of a deer. So this is really gonna tell us here whether or not our 300 yard dial and all our data is good on here. Perfect dial at 300 still. Hold right where we want to hit that deer and break the trigger. Boom, perfect. I loaded 3. Let's just send them. Pretty crazy how well that works. Stacked them right on top of each other. I'm not going to show you guys because I already showed you on the other ones, but I'm going to dial this up for 400 yards now. Now, should I put a big piece of steel or should I put a deer size target? That's going to be the question. Man, I'm so confident in this. Let's go ahead and just put another 1/3 size deer at 400 yards. This thing's money. Go turn the cameras on at 400. All right, so I put up another 1/3 size deer at 400 yards. Got my confidence level up. Hitting them 3 in a row there at 300. So I just loaded 4 in here. Let me make sure we're recording here on this camera. All right, recording on the scope, recording on everything. Back at 400 yards now. This is no walk in the park here. You gotta really have her dialed for 400 yards. And we're on this 12 power scope. So fix my parallax, heads up display, verify. We're set on the scope dead on for 400. Let's send them. We get a first round hit with this, I'll be happy, happy, happy. I think that one might have been just a shade high. I'm not sure if that was because of my trigger brake though. Try to stay in the scope a little better this time. Maybe somebody said he should have gone with the bigger piece of steel. Oh man. That one was a hit. Impact was a little bit right, but try to do the same hold here. Hit the same spot. Yeah, that first one I might have just had a bad trigger squeeze. Oh, we missed again. Let me load up a couple more. All right, so I got 3 more in the mag. Pay attention to my cant. My heads up display to stay on there. Really focus here. When I do my part, it's putting them in there. And remember y'all, that's a 1/3 size deer. That one I got it right where I held. I don't think the wind would have changed that much just at 400 yards, but that's what happened. That one I broke the trigger before I was ready because there's a sweat bee on my knee. But hey, you saw there, let me look at our hits. When I did my part, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits down there. And what did I miss? Twice? The thing works. Let me put it back down to 0. Pretty cool, huh? But hey, quick video. I showed you guys that video on the Eliminator 6 that has built in all that stuff. Super cool scope. This one is really cool too. It's electronic. Make sure that you're allowed to use it for huntings. There's just a handful of places that say that, oh, you can't use that for hunting, which is a bummer and a buzzkill. I think that's a crock. Utah, I hunted there and we couldn't use it. I want to say Colorado and I think Idaho are the 3 states. Don't quote me on that, but I think those are the 3 states you can't hunt with it. And those 3 states have elk. I would argue the fact that you would hunt with this, less elk would be wounded and killed. And elk hunters would have a better harvest rate. Don't take that to the bank, but that's my opinion. I don't have a problem with people using it. I would say more elk are wounded because people are trying to do things they're not super skilled at when they could have something like this that poof, gets them hits on a 1/3 size deer at 400 yards. But it's just me sitting here chatting to you. It's my opinion. But hey, appreciate you watching. Veracity PH from Burris. Super cool. If you never heard of it, now you heard of it. Did it with 6.5 Creedmoor here. That's those 129 grain core lock tips. Let me know if you want me to slap this scope on something else, and we'll do the same video and just have some fun. Maybe something crazy like a 338 Win Mag or something. But hey, appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think about this thing in the comments down below. It's pretty groovy. And this is on a Savage Axis too, guys. This isn't some crazy big money rig, but we're slapping steel at 400, hitting the same spot with the Savage Axis with the scope on there. It just takes the worrying and the think out of it. But appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Hooty hoo.